Since 1973, Tattoo Charlie's has been an established body modification studio in Kentucky, featuring world-renowned artists and piercers, currently with locations on Preston Highway and in Lexington, a staple point in the tattoo community. Learn more at tattoocharlies.com. Set up your appointment today at 7904 Preston Highway. Our tattoos are done while you wait. Hey, are y'all in a band? Do you need merch for shows? By now I'm sure you've seen all the Metal Forge patches that are available, along with many more. Well, the printer I use for those is UKR Patcher. Check them out on Facebook and Etsy. They do awesome custom work and for extremely affordable prices for any band budget. Check them out, UKR Patcher on Facebook and Etsy.
Musicians, rejoice! Confused with all the modern and technical pedal board selections? Look no further. Kentucky Hot Brown Pedal Boards offer their homemade wooden and custom pedal boards for guitarists and bassists alike. Established in 2013, KYHBPB has helped support not only the local Louisville scene, but a large array of big and small players from across the entire country. More info can be found at KentuckyPedalboards.com.
Thank you for tuning into the Metal Forge. I am Mark Jackson and I am your host. The premise of the show is pretty simple. Awesome interviews and awesome music. If you want to contact me, hit me up at metalforgeradio@gmail.com or visit the website metalforgeradio.com. And now let's get this show on the road. Thank you all for tuning in. It is Friday, July 30th, and I am your host, Mark Jackson, and you're tuning into the Metal Forge at high noon at metalforgeradio.com or wherever you get your podcasts from. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you all dropping in today. I have The Hell You Say coming on, Beenee and Josh from that band. Awesome cats. I'm sure you all have met them somewhere before, you know, they've been around for a long time. Awesome dudes, though. I appreciate them calling in. Awesome stuff going on this past week in metal. Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning both turned respectively 37 and 36 years old this year. Two of the best thrash metal albums of all time. I was only able to make it out to the Friday night show of Metal Fest. I know I had said that I was going to try and make it for the whole weekend. Due to health reasons, I couldn't go back on Saturday. It was super hot Friday night, and I really commend Mike Taylor's sound and everybody who were able to stick it out for the entire weekend, because it was a fucking scorching son of a bitch over the weekend. I really spent Saturday night dead on my ass, but as I've gotten older, it's been a little bit harder, and I hate that fact, you know. But I'm trying. Awesome bands on Friday night. Cross Joint, SWP, Fudge Knuckle, of course, was fucking awesome. Juke Joint Revival was fucking amazing. Pretty much everybody was on their game that night, and it was so awesome. I could only imagine, you know, what I missed on the Saturday. But all of that aside, you know, hell yeah. How are you guys? I hope you all are doing well amidst everything. I know there's some states out there that are reinstituting bans and closing again, you know, Kentucky being one of them, where they've reinstituted a bar ban and diminished capacity again in restaurants, going back down to 25% capacity, which sucks, you know. I think we all are really tired and just really want everything to go back to what we refer to as normal. But we've got to get through this shit, you know, and it takes everybody, you know. Wear your masks, wear your gloves, don't throw the shit on the ground, be safe, be smart. As cliche as this has got to sound, you got to look and stay positive, you know, because there's that meme that's out there is, you know, be kind to people because somebody is fighting a battle you know nothing about, kind of thing. And, you know, where we're all fighting this battle, it's definitely hard on a lot of people, you know. And if you do want to talk or anything, send me an email, send me a message on the platforms. I don't care. I will talk to you. I will, you know, if you need somebody to talk to, send me a message. metalforgeradio@gmail.com. And, you know, bend my ear. That's what I'm here for. That's what I like to do. I like to listen to people. I like to converse with people. So in the upcoming weeks, I do have some awesome shows coming up. There's a band from Sweden called Germ Bomb that I'm working with to try and get an interview set up. That's going to be really fucking cool. Metal Forge goes overseas again this year. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. I can't wait for it. Also, I'm going to have kind of sword and sorcery D&D style band Throne of Iron coming on next week. They're from Indiana. Fucking awesome music. I think you're just going to love it. It's so fucking cool. On top of that, I have Cleveland, Ohio's Destructor, thrash metal at its finest, coming on this month as well, along with Eric from Misanthropic Records coming on towards the end of the month. So it's a jam-packed fucking month, and it's going to be awesome. So tune in every Friday, high noon. And if you're a member of the Patreon, or if you're a subscriber to the Patreon page, it's typically up to 48 hours in advance now. Usually on Wednesdays at noon is when the show drops to the Patreon subscribers. And that's for any tier. And I know you hear me say this every week, but it really is. If you go on there and just put in $1, you get an episode 2 days in advance, along with some other stuff. If you do the $5, I know I'm sending out patches for that, mentioning your name on the air type shit. There's so many different things on there. It's patreon.com/metalforgeradio. But enough of my yakking, as Marty DeBerge would say. Let's get this show on the fucking road. This is The Hell You Say. All right, and I'm being joined on the line with The Hell You Say. What's going on, guys?
Hello. Hey, nothing.
So introduce.
What are you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing good. So introduce ourselves here to the Metal Forge land.
Josh, start us off, buddy. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm Joshua. I play bass, and then we got Beenee over here.
I'm Beenee Overstreet. I'm the singer screamer guy.
Singer screamer guy. Is that the technical term for that?
Guy. Screamer guy would probably be better. I don't sing a lot.
It's metal, dude. You don't have to.
Exactly.
I dig it.
I appreciate that.
So tell everybody out there about The Hell You Say.
Oh man,
I'm referring to Josh to start with because he is one of your original guy, right? You were there from Go.
I was there from the first show. I wasn't one of the original members.
Well,
I joined before we played our first show.
So. Where it starts, man.
Right, yeah. So The Hell You Say. We are nothing if not loud and unusual, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how to.
That's completely
It's always hard to, like, how do you explain your own band? We're
I always
we're
pick
loud
the
and
fanciest word that somebody else has used to describe us, and I've heard it several times. So I like the word visceral. That's the one that
I've heard unhinged. I like that one a lot.
Nice,
Right
yeah.
on. That is a good one. I would definitely say that.
I've heard scary. Like, there's a lot of movement on stage and things go on while we play that are my wife says she's always waiting to see something bad happen.
Right.
Oh, we're absolutely dangerous to ourselves.
So
you got, it looks like here, looking at your Bandcamp page, you've got a single and a full-length album called A Lifetime of Chasing Ghosts.
Yeah.
Tell me about the writing process of doing an album, because I'm always fascinated, how things come about.
There's two different stories here. Josh should tell his story first because mine's going to be substantially different.
Right.
Yeah, it actually, I know part. So Beenee replaced our original singer basically probably 3/4 of the way into the writing process of this album. And Chris and I kind of write everything kind of piecemeal. Like, we'll write a song or a riff, and then we'll expand on that until we get a song out of it, and then we go to another riff later on down the road. So all the songs sound like, like the same people writing them, but they're not necessarily the same ideas. So the album doesn't have an overall theme sonically, I don't think, except for it's just Chris and I writing. So like, you hear a lot of different influences and things, but we wrote that album. I mean, some of those riffs are probably 10 years old, and some of them were like 3 weeks old when we recorded. So, it's a long process. I heard someone famous say, like, you've got your entire life to write your first album.
Right.
So that's kind of what that encompasses. Like, because we've all been in relatively, like, moderately popular or well-known bands before, and this was kind of the stuff that we, like, held on to. They're like, oh, I like that riff, and then, the band I'm in now doesn't really, doesn't like it or can't use it. So it just canned in the back of our head. And when this project came about, we had a bunch of stuff left over that was like, hey, I really like this riff. The old band I was in, it didn't work out for them. How do you like this? And more often than not, we're like, oh, that's cool. That's weird. Let's use that.
Definitely. Because there's always a time and a place for something.
Yeah.
Frank Green had said to me one time, and this was after, they had already become popular with their album, Bitter Shovel and stuff like that. But he said they were signed to like a 2 or 3 album deal. And I said, why don't you just, record everything right then and then just put it out? And he said, well, you can't really do that because what's popular now might not be popular 3 years from now. And I took that to heart about the thing of, always keep your riffs, always keep your ideas, because just because right now you might not be able to use it doesn't mean anything in a year or two.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we do. We do that as well. Like if we get a riff together that we get that sounds decent, we actually record it just like demo style, or on everyone's phone, and when we give it a name. And just a random name, either like a band that we think it sounds like, or I'm a fan of giving it ridiculously odd, like giving the rest really odd names. Like I'll give them names, like I'll make up names that are like people's names. I think on some of the last albums, some of the riffs are like Fabrizius and Ephraim. So like when you look at our board when we're writing songs, you see like Ephraim 3 times, and then after that you'll see like Slow the Chariot, and then then you'll see like the next riff will say like Ephraim backwards, and that's kind of how we write songs.
And he gives them these ridiculous names, and I've taken it on as the vocal guy writing the lyrics too. to try to shoehorn these names into it, keeping the names of the songs and making them like relevant to what we do. And that's been both a joy and a challenge.
Wow. See, and I guess, I don't know if you've listened to the show or not before, but that is always, I love to ask that question, or what are some of the working titles you've ever had for songs, and what's some of the most ludicrous working titles you've ever had?
I think we only have ludicrous song titles.
I think only ludicrous is part. I think that's part and parcel of kind of what we do. Is here's these completely like serious things. Let's make them as ridiculous as possible.
And we're all very tongue in cheek and very like, we're all dads, so we all have a lot of dad jokes.
God.
So all of the song titles are all really just like the song Righty Tighty. I think it's the last song on the album. Every time we write it, we spell the two words differently.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
So every piece of text with that song on it is written. I mean, phonetically, I think he's dabbled in hieroglyphics at one point. It's ridiculous.
Oh.
And we made a joke recently that from now on we're only going to name all the songs one-liners or inside jokes of members of the cast of SNL's non-SNL movies.
Absolutely.
Wow, that would be really awesome.
And even those have been just through some of the shows we played and everything. One of our newer tracks is No Black Cats, and it's one of those things we haven't even recorded yet, but it's one of those things we've been working on. We had some pretty infamous dealings with sound men, and it has morphed into No Blake Cats over a gentleman who particularly gave us grief about our approach to playing live.
Really?
So it just everything continuously morphs into something else.
And then the name No Black Cats originally comes from the Joe Dirt, like no black cats, no screaming meanies, no like that thing.
Which is a tag back to an episode a couple of weeks ago where we sit there and said snakes and sparklers.
Right.
Because it's the only one they like.
If I can jump into what we were just talking about, as far as I came into this perfectly good, like the hell you say as a band, when I first came into it, they were really good. Their old lead singer, Jeremy, was this guy who really had a command of the like sort of guttural noise that goes on, but he could also sing and had these beautiful melodic parts. He really did an awesome job. And when I came in, I was kind of like I was hesitant to try to copy that and go into do what he was doing. So I really I kind of dumbed him down a little bit. And it's just like, what if we were just really mean all the time? Like, what if that was just what if that was the approach we took, is strip it down a lot and really like not so much stripping the music down, but stripping the vocals to where what I did down.
Well,
I think that took us into a different sonic territory as well, that like made it vastly different. Because like he said, Jeremy could, we kind of joked that in the band that Jeremy was very much a kind of like Louisville's Keith Buckley. He's like this like handsome dude that could sing and scream and wrote like interesting lyrics.
The guy was incredibly handsome, stupid handsome.
Yeah. And then when he left the band, we were like, man, what are we gonna do? Like, we're not gonna go find someone to do that. And then I was like, well, what about Beenee? So I just called him one day and said, hey, what are you doing? He was like smoking a cigar, sitting on a porch. I was like, why don't you come down and hang out? So he came down and hung out, and it was a day's notice. He came down and he had like some kind of ideas of lyrics and some kind of melodies. And then the big thing, he had questions about, hey, what are you all doing here, or why are you all doing that? And we were like, oh, this is the dude, because he did his homework with it was a day or two notice at best.
Oh, I was into I had booked you all at the Mag Bar before. I really
yeah, that is true. Yeah,
I was a fan already, so it was one of those things that like when I got a chance, I did the homework with the songs that you had sent me and listened to the stuff that Jeremy had recorded, and I really liked them. But it was just like, hey, what if we did this instead? That way it was, anytime singers change in a band, it's always this completely different vibe anyways. And no one wants to hear something that somebody else has done before, especially done badly by a guy that looks like me. So
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
it was
come
like,
on,
why don't
Beenee.
you do something? Oh no, I'm not an attractive man. It's okay. Like, but it's definitely one of those things where it was like, I remember going to that tryout and doing it, and you know, I felt okay about it, and I felt good, and I remember like I tell the story, and this might not be true, and Josh jump in and call me a liar, whatever. But it was one of those things where like we're getting ready to leave, and I'm like, man, this was a lot of fun. I really appreciate it. If it's something you want to do, you know, give me a call. I'd be into it. And Josh was kind of like, so you don't want to do it? I was like, well, absolutely, I want to do it. And it just went from there. We started meeting like every Sunday that we could, and it turned into I love it. Like it turned into this awesome thing that I'm very proud of.
Yeah, I think that I don't, you know, Chris and Jeremy are Jeremy Wilczek, our drummer. They're not here right now, but like I think while we were doing that when we were running through those couple songs that you had stuff to, like we were all kind of looking at each other, and like I think we knew, you know, second or third run through some of those songs, we were like, all right, this like A, this changed everything, and B, this is the like I'm not even interested in like entertaining anyone else at this point, because no one's gonna do that, because we always teetered on like, are we going to go like a more melodic sound? Are we going to go more commercial sound? Or are we going to go a heavier, you know, again, more unhinged sound? And then when we heard Beenee's voice with the band, we were like, well, I guess we're doing this then. Like this is how this fits with what we're playing, and this fits with what we want to do, and it answered the questions that we had.
Man,
So,
and honestly, just in that first month, and this is my observation, this is, you know, I might be wrong. There's a really good chance of that most of the time. But like, everyone seemed to loosen up. Even that first like month or so we practiced, everybody was very tight on like, okay, let's do this, let's approach it this way. And then all of a sudden it was like, I don't expect anything to be perfect. And everybody was kind of like, well, none of us do. So everyone loosened up, and it actually felt like, and I know a lot of these things were pre-existing, but it felt like things started coming together quicker.
yeah, I think the stuff that we had been working on prior to Beenee being in the band definitely ramped up quicker than the other stuff did, and maybe because we weren't trying to shoehorn into like this all has to be perfect. We have to get all these notes in there exactly the right way, and you know, like all that kind of stuff. I think we all did kind of go, all right, well, you know, we can just play and be heavy and have fun and see what happens. And then I think nearly immediately we started getting a much bigger response from the crowd. And if you see any video from us playing, some of our favorite things are when people turn the cameras on the crowd and you see the look of confusion and like terror maybe in some of their.
Terror's good. I like it. We played
one
a
of my favorites.
Huge room, and there was a lot of people there. It wasn't like it was a sparsely populated thing, but to watch us play, it looks like we're playing by ourselves in this like big community center. But then they'll pan the camera around, and everyone is legitimately pressed against the wall. Like, what the fuck is happening here?
Wow. I think there's a level of comfortability that comes with stuff like that. When you can all not bullshit each other with, you know, instead of trying to impress one another, I think it's more of a brotherhood aspect of saying, hey, you know, that's really cool. Let's keep doing that.
Man, as the new guy in the band, it was really one of those things where they made me feel welcome, and like not to sound corny, but I fell in love with these dudes immediately. Like I didn't know, I knew Josh already, and we'd had even limited. We were always glad to see each other, but like Chris and Jeremy, it was one of those things where immediately it was just like we all wanted the same thing, and we were all totally down to do what it took to get the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, this band clicked really quickly that way. That it just like it's really odd that like we're all dads, we're all different ages, but we all have a very similar sense of humor, and it's a very peculiar. It's dark and self-deprecating, but not a woe with me, or not like a mean-spirited dark. I don't know how to like. It's a very peculiar a sense of humor that not a lot of people get, and we all four of us kind of get each other with that, because it's a strange way to like be, I guess.
Well, I feel like all the bad stuff that we feel gets gets filtered into the actual song. So
Yeah.
we don't have, if we're doing it right and concentrated into that, we don't necessarily have much left over for each other.
Yeah.
If you could have written any song or album from another band, what would it be?
Oh God.
Any song or album, I will go genre specific and go something closer to what we sound like. And I think Beenee this might be his answer if we're going
absolutely gonna say it.
getting close to home, and it's going to be Jane Doe.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Like I'm embarrassed, but that's like I feel like I'm telling on myself that anybody who listens to Jane Doe and then listens to us is like, that guy's ripping them off. A little bit, yeah.
Well,
they got enough money, they can afford it.
Like we all love Converge, and we all love that album. And we've gotten more than one comment that like, oh, you guys sound kind of like Converge, or I heard we're Kentucky Fried Converge, and I was like, well, I don't think we're not ripping them off that blatantly, but we're in that wheelhouse. Especially Chris's guitar playing is very close to Kurt's playing, and then I think specifically my bass sound is very like, if you hear me play, if you hear the stuff on the record, you hear us live, you hear Nate, you hear Nick Steeneman, you hear Josh Newton, like we have a similar sound. We're all ripping off Brian Cook.
That's fair.
You know, like the other album might be We Came as Romans. Like that's probably our other like universally the four of us.
I would have gone with American Nervosa, but yeah.
Right on. So why music for you guys?
It's been, since I was a kid, it was the one thing that I could relate to other people with. I've been doing bands, God, since I was 18. I played in a hardcore band in the 90s that had limited success here in town, or in Louisville. That was in Union. And then I've been playing weird instrumental space rock stuff for really the past probably 20 years. And so this was a really comfortable way to go back to the things that I love, as far as like the hardcore scene and playing like heavy music, as opposed. I mean, I was still in kind of heavy bands, but they weren't not like this.
Yeah, similarly, like I grew up going to punk rock shows. My best friend's older brother was 4 years older than us, so when he was 16 and we were 11 and 12, his parents would take off for the weekend and say, "You got to watch, the boys," and he would take us. I saw King Horse when I was like 11 years old. The first first time I ever saw in a band live, I saw fucking King Horse.
Wow.
And that ended it. And
did you wear a helmet?
No. He actually, at one point, I remember him. It was upstairs at Louisville Gardens, and I remember him standing about 5 feet off of the stage, standing on top of people, hitting people with a microphone.
Oh yeah.
Like just absolutely just fighting the crowd. And I was like, this is what I want to do.
I was so excited to find out that guy was from the same end of town, in the same neighborhood that I was, Sean Garrison, he's a completely awesome dude. He gets a bad rap on sometimes because he is just surgically blunt. There's no way around it. And he's been one of those people that really got me interested. I'm pretty sure the first band I was ever in, we were just ripping off King Horse. So
yeah, I mean,
when I say I'm sure, I mean, we absolutely
not a bad band to rip off.
No, not at all. I'd love to have some members of that on the show eventually.
That might be an undertaking, like that. Like
that, yeah. That's a tough one.
Showing the right mood, you could get him, but other nights no. And then the Caillou, I think, is kind of over it.
I think I would have more luck getting the Beatles back together sometimes.
Well, at least two of them.
You're right. So, what inspires you to write music?
For me, I guess going back to why we play music, I grew up wanting to be a music teacher. So I play a bunch of instruments proficiently, and part of that is I always I hate to sound like this sounds very like artisty and very silly, but I hear rhythm and notes. I hear like the hum of the air conditioner in my bedroom right now. I can hear that note. I know what note that is. And when cars drive by me, I can hear the suspension makes a rhythm. And so I constantly hear it. And this is a way for me to kind of get it out. And I'm not talking like in a Tom Malero, like Wes Borland, like Jimi Hendrix. Like I got to make these noises with my instrument. It's that like I hear the stuff and I'm like, man, like how is he doing that? What is it like? why is that note resonating? Like, why is that doing that? Why? I come from it from maybe a scientific standpoint. Like, I want to deconstruct stuff, and it's a never ending fight to kind of, and the more I do it, the more it lets me relax, because I can't like, go get a massage and they play like pretty music or whatever. I can't do that, because in my head I'm going, what key is that in? What's the tempo? Why they put that incidental in that song right there? Why is there not like a 2-step let down on there? Why are they only going half steps? That's my head all the time. Every time I hear anything that could be considered musical, including the hum of an engine or something. So that's why I write, to try to kind of calm my brain, like to get it out of my brain, so I can rest.
I think my answer would just be therapy is really expensive.
Yeah, that's the short answer. Yes,
much cheaper.
Very much, very much. I can relate to both of those, actually. Therapy is expensive. This helps you get it out. And I think there's an ultimate, I don't want to say necessarily like a birthing process of writing music, but there's definitely something out there that, makes you kind of feel vulnerable around people sometimes. And it's a cleansing. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for, is a cleansing.
Yeah, I would say definitely the live performance aspect, especially of this band, is like we use an ungodly amount of equipment, and it's heavy, and we're wore out after the show, and it's multiplied exponentially by the fact that like there's such a cathartic release of emotional energy when we play, that after we're done, it's like, man, that was something.
Man, that was awesome. Now let's load up 800 pounds of equipment.
Right. There's way more than 800 pounds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the cathartic release after the show. I definitely get that. And speaking of shows, speaking of live performance, do you have a favorite city or venue? I don't know your tour, if you've been on tour, this band or previous bands, whatever. But do you have a favorite city and or venue you like to play?
I do. Like, with this band, we've only played out of town. I think just once, and we played with our brother band up in Elkhart, Indiana, and that was a great time. But personally, for me, I think my favorite venue I've ever played, there are two. One would be the Fireside Bowl up in Chicago, and then the other one would be, and I don't remember the name of this place, in Beenee. Maybe you guys played there when you were in Union. There's this weird little barbecue place in High Point, North Carolina. We played with Brothers Keeper and Code 7 and somebody else.
I don't think so. I don't think we ever made it there.
But it was this rad little barbecue place, and we played there with a Code 7 and Brothers Keeper in 97 or 98, and I just remember Code 7 was a hardcore band from down there, and they played a cover of Boys of Summer, and when we did that, you could not hear the PA from 300 kids screaming along to the song, and was
hysterical.
Such an amazing show of solidarity or community in High Point, North Carolina. Where the fuck is that even at? I know it's in North Carolina. That's all I know. We played there. But it was just so amazing. I think maybe it was the people that were there that made it special. But Fireside Bowl was awesome. We played there a couple of times. We played what's it called? The Villa Alsa Roba or whatever in Columbus a couple of times in previous bands. That was a really, really neat place to play. I used to live in Columbus, so I played around there a bit as well.
Nice.
I guess in the context of this band, and it's past my era on that, but with us playing at the Mag Bar only because our stupid lights come through better than anything.
Yeah, that is a good place. Yeah.
It's this, we can completely black it out. Everything's dark. And as soon as we hit those, I remember we played Dead Fest last year, and I knew we had sort of arrived with at least having some fans, or at least, instead of fans, let's say people that had seen us before, because we're going pitch black. We've got a sample playing. All of a sudden the music kicks in and the lights come up. And I look up, and there's probably a dozen people who have sunglasses on who knew what to expect when we were playing indoors because of our incredibly stupid lights.
Yeah, about the fifth row back, all the guys from Stagecoach all had sunglasses on with their arms crossed, just watching us.
All I can do is my my beautiful little girlfriend sitting back there with her sunglasses on, and that's when I knew it was going to be okay.
Yeah, it was that same show actually is one of my favorite moments because there's a video that I think Jared Wright took from the stairs right there, and when we bring those lights on, some girl throws her hands up and spins around and basically runs away from us. And that's when I was like, there we go. That's what we wanted.
And that's the hell you say in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Nice. We'll definitely try to get a link to that video on the post. So on the flip side of the performance question is, we've got your favorite place you like to play, city and or state or venue. Is there a concert from days gone past, like major event concert that you would like to have played that you never got a chance to?
I would like to have done This Is Hardcore, which I mean that still goes on when the apocalypse is over, but that was always one of the ones that I regretted not being able to get on.
Yeah, This Is Hardcore. I would have always liked to play Warped Tour. I just think it would be fun just to be with that many bands, you know, like just like a giant like rolling pirate ship of like 30 bands. I think would have been fun. Any of those big festivals like that, I think would
I'd love to.
Heroin, it would be fun as well.
I haven't been to it, but the Psycho Vegas too. That whole thing, that looks like such a good time.
Yeah, our buddies and the Hookers played that a few years back, and that was a lot of fun. Yeah.
You know what? I did not know that.
Yeah, they played like the pool party for the opening of Psycho Vegas.
Oh yeah,
and the dude from Dexter hung out with them backstage, and like Doug has pictures of them hanging out with like Dexter in like the Hookers t-shirt. Like backstage in Psycho Vegas.
I would like to imagine that on his rider, he said that he had to meet hookers, and he got stuck doing that, and was just like, "Oh, this is a bummer."
Yeah, that would be amazing. It was like here are the hookers, and it's like it's like fucking Doug Walker,
and it's the rock and roll outlaw. Love those guys. Total awesome dudes. Anytime we get a chance to talk about them, I'm there.
Definitely.
So I do like to ask some general questions as well, because
I was never in the military.
What's that?
I was never in the military, so I don't know a lot about generals.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Stop it.
Oh, those dad jokes. No, because we're all people. We're all struggling through the same shit right now. You know. Do you have a favorite film?
Oh wow, a film or a movie?
Well, I always like to say film because I appreciate the art form of.
Yeah, no, I'm teasing.
I know. Trying to get all philosophical here, because this is a deep radio program. No, it's not.
We need to start using our public broadcast voices. Yes. My particular favorite film. That's a hard question because there's so many movies that like there's, like you said, there's a lot that I can appreciate the art of and the whole like photography, everything that goes into it. But then there's a lot of movies that are just dumb fun that are a blast to see. I think the thing that splits the middle ground with those, and it's probably my favorite director too, even though he's kind of a dick, is I'm going to go with Time Bandits. I think Time Bandits might be my favorite movie ever made.
Right on.
That's where you go, Josh?
Yeah, I'm surprised. Like I was expecting either something really deep with you, or you were going to say like Ace Ventura 2. Like that I was expecting
credit for.
Yeah, I was expecting something like for me
the Fisher King too. It's a tie between the Fisher King and Time Bandits. How about that?
Oh, okay, that's better. I approve that answer. Okay. I've kind of got two as well, and one is kind of my like artsy like this is what people expect to hear, but it is one of my favorite movies, and the other one is vastly different. Seven Samurai, I think, is one of the best movies ever made.
I swear to God, I was going to say, is it Kurosawa?
It actually is.
Actually, so that's a magnificent movie, and I think that's definitely on my list as well.
Yeah, I saw that in high school. I took Japanese in high school, and part of our curriculum was like Japanese culture, and one of the things was we watched a lot of Japanese television and movies. And I saw that, probably my junior year of high school, maybe sophomore year of high school, and I was completely blown away by the story and the cinematography and everything that was in it. And it's always kind of stayed with me.
Can I change my answer?
Sure.
And so,
ditto on Josh. That's it really, yeah.
So the other one, because I like dark stuff. I like stuff that I don't like. I don't like when movies tie everything up and everything's happy-go-lucky in the end. My go-to favorite movie lately, when people have been asking me, is Leaving Las Vegas.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a good
one. Every time I watch that movie, I feel this. God, this is hokey to say. I feel profoundly different when I'm finished watching that movie, and I think it's because of there's a lot of addiction triggers in there. There's a lot of depression triggers in there, and it makes me feel like, even though I'm not I don't even drink. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not suicidal, but like something about that movie goes oh, well, I'm not the only one that's dealing with dark shit in their life.
Right.
So it makes me feel better to see that. It's oh, dude, that dude's way more messed up than I am. And knowing that it's pseudo autobiographical as well, it makes it better or worse. I don't know which way you would take that, but yeah, just those two are definitely my tops.
Right on. So we've got Time Bandits.
Solid.
And yeah, hell yeah. Do you have a favorite food?
Well, as a large land-dwelling mammal, all food is my favorite food.
Accessible. That's my favorite food.
Accessible food, yeah. Yeah, I really don't think I do. I love a simple good taco or piece of pizza is pretty rad. I don't have to have duck confit and caprese salad. It's not I'm a pretty simple dude. But anything really. I'm pretty eclectic in my food taste personally.
This is interesting because I was just talking with somebody over the weekend about having poutine. When you said duck confit, it made me think about it because it's pretty much the
poutine's magnificent.
What's that?
Poutine's magnificent.
Yeah, I've never had it, and I'm just like, gosh, I really want to try that.
I was merching for Elliot, and they played shows in Canada. And we went to a diner, and I made fun of it aggressively for the first half hour, and then spent the next hour and a half eating as much of it as possible.
Yeah,
right. That's usually how it goes. But yeah, pizza typically is the number one answer on that.
Well, I was in the middle of if I was trying to impress you, I guess I would say sushi is probably my favorite food, but followed close behind by my mom's bullshit Campbell's soup, chicken and rice recipe is pretty awesome too. Those are my favorite foods.
Yeah, I think pizza is kind of a go-to for a lot of people because pizza, a buddy of mine once said that pizza's like sex. Even when it's bad, it's still kind of good, and that's kind of always held. Even you can go to one of these fancy pizza places around town and get an amazing $50 pizza pie and it'd be amazing, but then a $5.99 Domino's medium pizza with some pepperoni and banana peppers, still pretty damn good.
Let me make an argument for Little Caesars because it is both hot and ready.
That is true. And they were way ahead of the game of a no touch delivery with the little vending machine thing.
I wish they would have just put signs up that says, "We don't want to talk to you. Just get your fucking pizza."
I mean that's the sentiment of Little Caesars if it's not their slogan.
But yeah,
welcome to Little Caesars. You're on your own.
Yeah, basically.
Pizza, fuck you.
I think that's every time I've ever tasted Pizza Hut. I think it's man, these people hate me. Why did they give me this?
No, that's just the pizza.
The only time I ever went to Pizza Hut and enjoyed it, I'm pretty sure I was probably 8 years old, and they had to sit down Centipede game, and that was why I liked going there.
You probably had the little free pan pizza coupon too for the.
I read a lot for pan pizzas, man. I read as many. I think that's only why I'm half as smart as I am. Is because I read so many books to get the 3 fucking pizzas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. That's probably a thing of the past. They probably don't do that anymore.
Does Pizza Hut still exists?
No, not that they don't have Pizza Hut, but the reading for pizza.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe that's an idea who's like, we brought back everything else in 2020. Like, we've got the plague again and like Nazis running rampant. Why not reading for pizza? Like, that seems a very benign thing to have return.
Right. Well, we brought the plague back.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Oh my gosh. You know, being a musician always comes with trials and tribulations and just plain out chicanery. Do you have any favorite Spinal Tap moments?
Shit, they're all Spinal Tap moments.
Yeah, we are Spinal Tap. Like, it's
every band is Spinal Tap.
Yeah, I feel like every band has those moments. I mean, I think most of the Hell You Say moments are like again, like we play with too much equipment. It's just it's dumb with the amount of stuff we play with. So every time it's like the worst game of Tetris ever to be like, how do we get all this stuff into the van? So then we got a trailer, and we realized we're a 4-person band. We overfill a 5x8 trailer. Like, it's stuff full. You can barely get the door closed.
The 5th member of our band is hearing damage.
Yeah. Like, we talked about handing out earplugs and sunglasses before we play. But yeah, I mean, that's a big one. I think, like, my younger days, obviously, the ridiculousness of playing shows and like just being like entirely too inebriated to even remember, but there being like pictures of the shows. Like, oh, I guess I played that show.
Yeah, like, it's hard to watch videos because it's one of those things where I like give up any sort of humility to play the show. So it's like, I just let what happens. And sometimes to go back and look at that, it's just like, oh God, look at yourself.
Yeah, we bought the 30 millimeter tall Stonehenge, and when we got it, we didn't realize how big 30 millimeters really was.
Right.
Every show I'm trapped in the pod.
Right, yeah.
You know, that actually happened to me at a show. Not the pod thing, but it was just out of that film. And I had a guitar player, and he was playing on his amp and everything, and we had breaks in the song, you know, where there was nothing going on. And it would never cease to fail that his guitar would never work on the parts that it should have worked, but it would always screw up when it was supposed to be a break in the song, and you'd hear this shit, right?
Yeah, I had a channel selector that had a short in it that if you stepped on the wire in the right spot, it would change channels. And that took a longer time to diagnose than it should have for me.
Oh yeah,
it was a long time of like what? Why is it doing this? Like, God damn it! Like, why stop? Like, what's it doing? And then like one day I happened to notice that I stepped on the cable and it changed channels. I was like, oh, it's the channel selector that's doing that. You know, a year and a half after it started happening.
Right.
Oh, the first show we played, like, our guitar player Chris, I wish he was here so he would back me on this story. He has this just like methodical, surgical approach to like his sound and the equipment he uses, and everything's laid out perfectly. And it's just this like it's no accident. It's brilliant. So our very first show that we're playing with me as the singer, it's like, man, let's have a lot of fun. Okay, let's go. And like 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes, 10 seconds into the first song, I just stomp on his pedal board and blow up like just. What was this, tuner or something that absolutely we had to have. And it was one of those just like, hey, thanks for letting me in the band. Hope this is great for you.
Yeah, that's become a mantra in the band as well. That constantly because we're loud and crazy and we're always breaking stuff. And specifically microphones are an endangered species in around our band. And it's funny to watch Beenee play because he doesn't realize how much he abuses them. Like we played, I think I want to say it was Louisville's Dead Fest last year that he ripped the threads off of the windscreen of the microphone.
Yeah.
Like just like basically ripped the microphone in half, and then we handed it to the sound guy. I was like, sorry, and then the sound guy was just like, ugh. Just put the microphone in and handed it back to him.
I absolutely. It's still on the Magbar Instagram where I was just like, man, they're like, you touchdown spiked the mic. And I was like, no, I didn't. That's ridiculous. I would never do that. And they kept
you did, yeah.
Absolute moment of me just winding back and throwing this thing straight into the ground. And it was like, no, that can't be me. There's no way.
Well, you know, I mean,
Somebody,
you are like 6'5".
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody, one of the best compliments I've ever gotten, and I took it as a compliment just because I'm dumb. But this kid was talking to me after the show and was just like, man, I love watching you all play. And it was like, I can't thank you enough. Thanks a lot. And he goes, watching you, it's like you get shot at the beginning of the show and then it takes you 30 minutes to die. It's
Oh
like,
my
great.
God.
That's what I'm going for. Thanks, kid. Threw him a button and tousled his hair and then got in the limo, you know, like
threw your mean Joe Green jersey to him.
I did. Hey kid. Thanks.
It's ridiculous. It's like you get shot at the beginning of the show.
It's fair. I've seen videos. It's fair, I guess.
Right, but it's just like
little does he know that Josh is like, I would imagine Josh is like, okay, all my stuff's plugged in, my amps are on, I'm in tune. Let's bust Beenee's head open with his headstock. Like, I'll get him this time. It just turns into this Tom and Jerry.
There's video of that too, where like you see your hair stands up as my headstock goes flying by. So I miss you by millimeters. And my wife after that show was like, "You almost killed Beenee." It's like, "No, we weren't that close." You see the video, you're like, "Oh Jesus!" Like, yeah, like that was almost bad.
I hate to break the fourth wall, but for anybody who's listening to this, I want you all to appreciate the amount of choreography that goes into that. Like, we practice this stuff like full pads, you know, the whole thing, sometimes 2 a day, and we want people to be entertained.
You know, you've either been or played at Union Station.
Yes.
I know a bass player who is probably about maybe 5'7", 5'8". Not me, by the way, because that's about my height, and I'm a bass player. But it's not me.
Hey, we're all bass players here. Let's
right.
talk freely.
Even the dog. Hey, he's even a bass player. Right, probably better than me. No.
Well, now that I know we're all among bass players, I'm going to go ahead and take my shirt off.
There. I can't do that on stage anymore. But no, he did the guitar whip and smacked the singer in the face. But he tried it at Union Station, which anybody who's ever been there, as you're on stage, you know there's a drop ceiling.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
So not only did he smack the singer in the face with the headstock, once it skated off of the singer's face, it got stuck in the ceiling.
Yeah, see, I'd love to have seen that. That's a good time.
That's perfect.
I know there are pictures of it, and
that's a win.
And I will try and find them.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Like, I'm not even mad. I'm impressed actually.
Like that's.
And the thing that Beenee said, now let's take all of our shirts off. I think he was actually not wearing a shirt when that happened.
Well, you know,
it goes with the territory. So
I think like.
Go ahead.
Entertaining as that would be, I would love to have seen the aftermath where he just has to kind of stand there for a second and take his face out of the ceiling.
Like, oh yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hopefully it was stuck. It took several pulls. Like,
yeah, it did actually.
I hope there was like a popping sound. You know, like, oh, there it is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was relieved of his duties after that show, unfortunately.
Oh,
yeah.
See,
you'd have got your the hell you say badge on that one,
right?
You'd have got to put that on your stage.
God, that's been so long ago. That's been like 8 or 9 years ago at this point. So I have one more question, but before I ask it, I always want to say, are there any shout outs you want to give to anybody?
Oh, wow.
I mean, I don't know. Guys on the Lenore Colt have been real good to us. They're kind of our brothers.
That was the first thing on my brain. Those guys have been nothing but sweethearts to us since we met. And I think you all have known them longer than me. And they've been nothing but good to us. And I know they've had some rough times, and they deserve nothing but good things.
Yeah, them and and the other guys that that we're tight with, the other bands and Stagecoach and Bat Wizard.
Yeah,
all those dudes are stand up dudes and ladies.
The Bowels guys.
Yeah, the Bowels guys come at us.
As silly as it sounds to say this out loud, and they'll know who I'm talking about if they listen to it. The Lutang Clan, all the guys that we did a show earlier last year or late last year where we covered the Mastodon record, or Leviathan all the way through. All those dudes, and there's a lot of mix of the bands we've already said, but definitely those are all good bros.
Definitely.
The dude, all those guys and She are fucking mad.
Yeah, I can't believe I forgot She. Bob has been nothing but awesome to us.
Bob's the champion. Bob is just one of those, like, he is a treasure. Man, there's so many. Like, I know we're going to leave a lot of people out, and I don't want them to think that it's not they're thinking of it. We're just on the spot. That's all.
We should have changed this to who do we not want to thank?
Yeah, really, Blake
would be high on the list. Every sound guy of every show we've ever played, basically, like, is kind of we are the bane of every sound guy.
Yeah. But the one, I won't say where it was, but the one we had to have a very, like, this place had built a stage, and it was a stage in
this is how I tell the story. So I had this tiny stage where a drum set wouldn't even fit on it. And it was just like, hey man, Josh actually approached him, and Josh could be blunt, but he usually knows what he's talking about. He goes up to the kid and was just like, hey, you should probably move this. We're not exactly, we're not going to use it, and it's probably going to be more of a liability. And the kid got kind of like, hey, come on, we have the stage, we put it here, we want you to use it. And it was like, Josh kind of argued with him back and forth, and finally ended in well, fine, leave it, that's fine. Well, I was lucky enough to wind up close to him, and I hear him talking, and this one kid goes up to the guy at the venue and was like, have you seen the Hell You Say play? And I was like, no. He goes, you should really move that stage. Like, it's not going to be good. And the kid still was kind of like, no. I see them, like, on the phone, and we start setting up, and I think he finally starts, like, seeing us all together. Where me and Josh, like, we're an imposing pair just standing next to each other. We're some big old boys, like it's hard not to. And, like, we're sort of tuning up, and you can see, like, the venue owner and his minions running over and getting that stage the fuck out of the way as fast as possible because he realized that this was not going to end well.
Yeah, and that, like, that another to go along with that, like, I think I want to say that it was Beenee, like, with the Blake thing, like Beenee was like, why is it every time you talk to a sound guy it sounds like a hostage negotiation?
It really does. It's like, look, you do this and no one gets killed. You do this and no one gets killed. Well, and they're usually, like, genuine. No, really, like, this is we here at the Hell You Say are all about safety. Like, we want people to be okay.
Yeah, and then, like, that, like, in that instance, that guy didn't listen to us. Cut to, like, first note of the song. Beenee puts his foot up on the monitor. Monitor goes flying out off the stage into the crowd. Guy puts it back on there. I spin around. I slide backwards like a slip. I hit that same monitor. It goes flying back into the crowd. It happened like 4 times before. I think the guitar player from Controvert just takes the monitor himself and just leaves with it.
That was really the best possible reaction. He did.
Yeah, like, after the 3rd time, the dudes in Controvert were like, "All right," because we're loud. I was like, "All right, like, mic the drums, turn the drum monitor all the way up, turn the lights all the way off. That's all we need." And the guy was like, "Are you sure? Like, this is a big PA." It's like, "Trust me." And then we started rolling stuff out, and he was like, "Oh God!" And then he started setting monitors up. We're like, "We don't need those. Those are going to get hurt."
You just don't, like, trust us. We've done this before.
And he just wouldn't listen to us. And it's kind of like one of those, like, all right, man, like, you asked for it. Like, I'm not gonna try to damage your stuff. but I asked you to move it because
we're never trying to break anything. That's
right.
not, we have more respect than that. Like these stories are funny and everything, but it's usually after the fact. And we really do like, emotions are high when we play. These songs are important to us, and they're not friendly subjects. They're not things that like, we talk about with everyone.
Yeah, they're not bubblegum pop songs.
Yeah. My K-pop is not as strong as some. And it's definitely one of those things that, like, shit happens when you get people, especially 4 people who are as excited about doing what we do, like, together. It's going to get wild.
Right. Definitely.
And I'm going to give people what they want.
And what?
And I believe in giving the people what they want.
Absolutely. And that's what matters, Playing music, that's what matters, I think. So tell everybody how to get a hold of you guys as well. To see book shows, whatever, buy albums. Where can they do that?
Bandcamp, the hell you say, Bandcamp, Facebook, Instagram, all the social media platforms. You can, on the Spaces, all that kind of stuff. We're on everything basically.
We do appear on Spotify. We're on
we're on Spotify and Apple. We've got a minor distribution deals through DistroKid, which I think most everyone does at this point. So we're on all the streaming platforms, be it Spotify or Tidal or all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, kind of anywhere. Like I feel like I always hate to say you can buy the album, listen to the album, but until you see us live, I think the album was a representation of a point in time. Everyone that sees us live is like, oh, well, that makes sense now, because in the studio we write and record these songs and like they're cathartic and everything, and then it's much more intense when you get the sight and the sound and the just the immensity of the volume that we play at. I think is a part of it. Bob from She actually says that we bathe people in volume, and I've taken that as like my moniker. If you go through like our Facebook or Instagram page, there's a bunch of things that people like posted. Like I think Beans or Brother posted a picture of us playing. It was like I can see how loud Josh is in this picture. Like I'm so loud it came through on a photograph.
Somebody had written somebody had sent me a picture of something written. Somebody graffitied. I'm assuming Magbar because it was a sickly green, but it just said, "The hell you say doesn't care about your hearing."
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
That is a good one. That's really good, actually. So, final question of the night. If heaven or hell exists, what do you want to hear when you arrive where you think you're going?
James Lipton, huh?
If Black Sabbath isn't playing in hell, I'm gonna feel awfully cheated.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if heaven or hell exists. I'm not a philosophical person on that side of things, because I think it gets awful deep. If heaven or hell exists, I think they're gonna. I've always joked that I have a greased bat pole to hell. Like I'm not on an elevator. I'm not on a escalator. It's like it's someone somewhere greasing a bat pole for me just to slide down right in there. And I'm expecting at this point, being in middle age essentially at this point, man, I'm old. That someone's gonna go, so what took so long? Like that's kind of what I'm expecting. Like, because I feel like at this point, like I don't say that I'm on borrowed time, but like like all of our heroes as musicians, they all die when they're 27, when they're 28, when they're 30. I'm half again past that at this point almost. Like it's like, man, like what?
You'll notice I've got really quiet.
Yeah, I'm not a big rock star. Like I haven't died yet. Like it's a bummer.
I know. I've tried so hard.
Tried so hard is what you said, Beenee. Guys, thank you so much for coming on to the show. I really appreciate it. I cannot wait to. Oh, definitely. It's definitely been my pleasure. Is there any shows that you all, I know with the quarantine and all that and the social distancing, are there any shows that you all have possibly coming up anytime soon? We
have a couple of dates out of town if we ought to play again. I think we're playing Cult Fest up in Elkhart, Indiana, on September 12th, I believe, and we'll do a couple dates around that touring. Or I think we talked to Controvert about playing maybe Lafayette that same weekend, something like that.
All of this depends on like the state of as it is too.
Definitely.
But yeah, I mean that's all we had a lot of dates planned this spring and the summer that they all got canceled. Like we had a pretty full plate. We joked around when this happened. Like, of course, the year that we're going to become a big band is the year that the apocalypse happens. Like, that makes perfect sense.
I think it directly coincides.
Yeah,
I definitely understand.
Yeah.
I can definitely relate to that. Same thing for my deal.
We definitely look forward to playing out when the end of the world's over.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe that's what's going to be. No, wait. That's the first thing people are going to hear.
I mean, we would not be a bad soundtrack to the end of the world, to be completely honest.
Oh, no. It depends on what sort of end of the world you want. If it's going to be fire, brimstone, chaos, man, we're your dudes.
Right.
If it's a slow decline, though, I'm sticking with neurosis.
Yeah.
Understandable. Guys, again, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys again. So what do you guys want me to play off the album?
Oh, wow.
I'm going to go either Mirkwood or Righty Tighty. That would be my two bangers. I think I love everything on the album, but those two are, I think, the ones that I feel like really encompass my thought of the band.
I was going to say Mirkwood or Cut in Half, but Cut in Half's always my favorite.
All right. Well,
there's no wrong answer here.
There's no wrong answer. Absolutely. So why don't we end the show with the end of the album with Righty Tighty?
Awesome.
A good one.
Yeah.
It's very much goes in with current social wrecks. It's a great song about a riot.
Yeah.
Shields up when the boots meet pavement.
Hell yes. And here it is. This is Righty Tighty from The Hell You Say. Since 1973, Tattoo Charlie's has been an established body modification studio in Kentucky, featuring world-renowned artists and piercers, currently with locations on Preston Highway and in Lexington, a staple point in the tattoo community. Learn more at tattoocharlies.com. Set up your appointment today at 7904 Preston Highway. Our tattoos are done while you wait. Hey, are y'all in a band? Do you need merch for shows? By now I'm sure you've seen all the Metal Forge patches that are available, along with many more. Well, the printer I use for those is UKR Patcher. Check them out on Facebook and Etsy. They do awesome custom work and for extremely affordable prices for any band budget. Check them out, UKR Patcher on Facebook and Etsy.
Musicians, rejoice! Confused with all the modern and technical pedal board selections? Look no further. Kentucky Hot Brown Pedal Boards offer their homemade wooden and custom pedal boards for guitarists and bassists alike. Established in 2013, KYHBPB has helped support not only the local Louisville scene, but a large array of big and small players from across the entire country. More info can be found at KentuckyPedalboards.com.